Hello, everybody, and thank you for being here. This is the Wrasslin for Life Network News Edition, and this week in wrestling news, we cover everything and pretty much anything that has happened. I am Chris. As you'll notice, we are without my co-host or the host of the show, Ali. She's off taking care of some stuff, but I'm here. So bear with me. It is only my second time doing the news, first time doing it alone. So on that note, we're going to get right into this day in wrestling. Now, with it being a Sunday, there wasn't too much today. There was some cool stuff, and I think the coolest of them all was in 2006, WWE announced they had officially acquired the libraries for World Class Championship Wrestling and Stampede Wrestling, which would eventually, 8 years later in 2014, be a big part of the unveiling of the WWE Network. So they went around, they bought a bunch of libraries and said, "Here you go, fans, come to one place to watch them all." And that's what they did, and they continue to do now. So that's this day in wrestling history. And now we are going to move on to. So today we like to wish a very happy birthday to Priscilla Kelly. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. No, also known as Gigi Dolan. She has turned 25 years old today. Then we have Kona Reeves, who was born in 1992, and he has turned 30. I believe he's been released from WWE, but he's now 30 years old. And then we have Mike Novabuchi, who was born in 1973, which makes him 50 years old or 49 years old. And that's the birthdays for today. There was some notable ones during the week, like AJ Styles. But for today, that is the three big ones. So now we are going to get right into the news. And of course, I think the company that's kind of taken the whole wrestling world by storm at the moment and kind of taken up all the headlines, especially when I was scrolling through and getting everything organized. You notice usually it's not so much this way. Usually it's kind of the other way, where AEW took over and it's kind of been all over the place when it comes to headlines, and WWE's kind of taken the back seat for this week. So let's get right into that. And on the first story, I think you have to go with, I don't know, how can you not go with that sad face? It kind of reminded me of the whole Shawn Michaels thing. Not as sad, I guess, or maybe sadder, just not as. This felt more real than Shawn Michaels saying he lost his smile. CM Punk was clearly torn up, and it was you knew something was up as soon as he made his way out to the ring. He had a limp. He didn't look very good, and then you could tell by his eyes there where you tell if it hurt. It was emotional, and part of what he said was his heart was also broken because this isn't what he wanted. This wasn't the plan. He just got given the belt, so it was announced that he will be out of action. I have read that it won't be for too long necessarily, but he will be out of action getting surgery. And in the meantime, AEW has announced that there will be an interim champion. And what that will mean is they will crown the new champion at Forbidden Door, at the June 26th Forbidden Door AEW New Japan pay-per-view. Sorry. It's believed he suffered a broken foot. So that's not the worst thing. If it's just a foot, then you should be able to get back pretty quickly and then get back into that champion versus champion storyline. So what the plan is, I believe there's going to be the Battle Royal. The winner of the Battle Royal on Dynamite will face Moxley. Then in New Japan, Tanahashi will fight Goto, and the winner of those two will then fight the winner of the Battle Royal winner and Moxley, and they will fight at Forbidden Door for the interim champion. And I believe that's it. It's sad to see. He's had a lot of momentum behind him, but we've seen it with some of the older guys coming back after long layoffs where sometimes this happens. Edge tore his tricep, and he made a full recovery, came back, looks better than ever. So let's hope Punk is back sooner than later, and we can get that storyline, because whoever he's going to fight, it's going to be big money. Excuse me. Now moving on, if anybody had seen, CM Punk kind of had something to do with this. Not fully, but after this big thing happened, he was the one, he came out and there was a little something there after the fact. But I think the biggest story of the week would have to be that MJF promo. He wants to be fired. He doesn't want to be there no more, according to his promo. He's sick and tired of Tony giving all the money to the ex-WWE guys. He's apparently the second highest minute-for-minute draw in AEW. As he said, everybody else hits home runs. He hits grand slams. Everybody else was given a ticket. He had to write his own. So what has happened now is kind of similar to the Sasha and Naomi situation, where they have pulled MJF's merchandise. They have unfollowed each other on social media. They have removed them from the intro. They've removed them from the roster. So whether you think it's a shoot, whether you think it's a work, there's clearly something going on here. It seems very, very, very similar at this point, kind of. A little bit more public than the Naomi Sasha situation, but it's kind of similar, and either way, it's intriguing. It's way more interesting than the Sasha Naomi stuff. And if anybody missed that promo, I suggest you go out and look it up and find it, because it was one hell of a promo. Some people saying it's better than the Punk pipe bomb. Some people are saying it's not as good. Either way, it brought eyes to the TV, and it was amazing. And to see where this is going to continue to go is interesting. Will he be in the tournament? Will he not be in the tournament? Will he be showing up on AEW at all? Just going to have to wait and see. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the next story. And if you haven't had enough of these two as it is, well, there's going to be more. They just don't seem to go away. They're like the bee that gets into your car as you're driving, just annoying the hell out of you the whole time. AEW, Sammy Guevara and Taya Conti, and probably, I don't know, is it cliche, obnoxious? I don't know the way to describe it. Beautiful. Taya looks great. Sammy looks great. The Eiffel Tower in the background looks great. But they are now engaged to get married. So they're not going away anytime soon. They're really not going away, apparently. And I'm guessing they're going to keep pushing these two together. So we've seen how proposals have gone for Sammy in the past. Let's just maybe hope, maybe not everybody, but let's hope it goes a little smoother and a little better than the last time. And let's just see where it goes. It is beautiful to see two people getting together, and you can tell they're very into each other at the moment. So congratulations, I think, is in order for those two, and hopefully it goes well. And now, folks, if you missed Dynamite, we had a big return A lot of fans have been asking, a lot of fans have been wondering, where did he go? What has been happening? Is he injured? Is he just hanging out with CJ Perry or Lana? What is going on? Well, last night we got the answer. It didn't help that CJ Perry decided to tweet out a bunch of stuff beforehand, kind of ruining the surprise in my mind. But Miro made his big anticipated return, and he looks mean. He looks like a beast. Big fan of Miro. I love what he does. I think WWE missed the boat on him. So he made his anticipated return. He fought Johnny Elite, Johnny Nitro, Johnny whatever you want to call him, and he did win, and he looked like a monster. So very cool to see, and very happy to see him back. Now, there has been not just MJF, apparently, who is upset. Thunder Rosa, your AEW Women's Champion, is apparently a little frustrated over the fact that she is not getting the TV time that she thought she would get as champion. I don't know if it's a case of maybe she's looking around, looking back at Britt's title run, and apparently she would like to get more TV time and be on more than just showing up and doing a match or an interview. So that's that. She's just unhappy and would like more time on the air. So apparently it's not just MJF who's getting a little upset and a little tense backstage. There's a lot going on, especially when you keep bringing in new people, and fortunately, some people just won't get the time they want or think they deserve. And Thunder Rosa, I think, does deserve it. So it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. But because I think she could use more time on the air. I think I think the whole women's division could use a little bit more time, a little bit better stories. I think that was the worry after Britt lost the title. So we'll see where it goes. I think Thunder Rosa is a great champ, and if there is anybody that deserves more time, it would be Thunder Rosa. Now, moving on to some sad news of the week. Unfortunately, our condolences go out to the Pillman family, friends, anybody who knew this family, this lady. Melanie Pillman has passed away, who is the mother of Brian Pillman Jr. So like I said, condolences. It's sad to hear, sad to see. There's not much else I can think of saying at this moment. Just your heart goes out to everybody involved. And I'm guessing Brian Pillman Jr. might be away for a little bit. That's deserved. Show him the respect and the time. Maybe send your condolences. But yeah, so that's sad news of the week, unfortunately. So now we are going to move on to AEW Battle of the Belts. They have announced its date, its arena. It is slated to make its Grand Rapids, Michigan debut on Friday, August 5th for a live Rampage episode and a taping of Battle of the Belts 3. So that's pretty cool. It's assumed the special will take place on Saturday, August 6th on TNT. Tickets go on sale Friday, June 10th. This is the first August date announced on their schedule. The first special took place in January and featured the TNT, FTW, and Women's World title being defended with all of the champions retaining. The 1 hour special drew 700,000 viewers. So that's pretty cool. The second one didn't do as well viewership-wise. It only did 527. So knowing Tony Khan, I'm guessing he's going to try and step that back up and get it back up to at least where the first one was. And I don't know what your thoughts are there. Who would you like to see? What belts would you like to be defended? Let us know in the chat. Let's go on. We are moving on now. This is also kind of connected to the AEW, so that is why it is next. 1 second here. So yes, we are moving on to New Japan Wrestling because, like I said, there was some stuff that that connects, as we've kind of discussed earlier. I don't even know if I really have to say it again, but I will just because. So the plan for this Forbidden Door, because the original plan was Tanahashi was going to fight Punk. There's Tanahashi looking great. One of the New Japan favorites, one of the bigger guys there when it comes to fans. He was supposed to fight Punk, so that clearly has been thrown out. So, like I said earlier, he will fight Goto at their Dominion show. Crap, I can't remember the exact date of the Dominion show. I think it was like June 12th or June 10th, somewhere around there. He will fight Goto. The winner of those two, which my guess would be Tanahashi, will then fight the winner of Jon Moxley and the Battle Royal that is happening on Dynamite. They will fight at Forbidden Door for the interim AEW World Title. Now, does anybody think they will give the belt to a New Japan guy? I don't know. I think that'd be kind of different, kind of a little bit of a swerve that not many people see coming. I think a lot of people may be picking Moxley. I think that's who I first picked when we first heard it announced, but they're giving it some thought. I don't know. Tony seems to like kind of throwing a little wrench into the plan, so we'll it's brought some intrigue, though, and it's interesting. So we'll see what happens. And now to some more unfortunate injury news. We are moving on to Juice Robinson, who is unable to compete at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion. He, just like a member of the fam here, has appendicitis and will have to go. There you go, June 12th. Thank you, KJ. I knew it was somewhere there. Oh, excuse me. Juice Robinson is injured. He has appendicitis and will require surgery. And yes, sorry. I know I'm not really getting to the comments too much. I'll try and get back to them near the end. But hi, hello. Thank you for being here, everybody. We appreciate it very much. There's just so much to cover when you do the weekly news that I kind of want to hit all of those. So the comments might not get the attention they deserve. And I do apologize. But back to Juice. Yeah, he was pulled from the Best of the Super Juniors 29 final earlier this week, and it was announced during the broadcast it was due to appendicitis. Young Lion. Oh, no. Young Lion. I'm just going to go with Young Lion because I cannot pronounce that name. Became the substitute opponent for Tomoaki Honma that night. His return date is unknown. I believe it's not too long to recover from appendicitis. I've never had that happen. So there is supposed to be, he was supposed to defend his title, his U.S. title, in a three-way match at Dominion against Sonata and Will Ospreay, but he will be unable to compete. Impact Wrestling's X Division champion, Ace Austin, who will be in the news a little later on, has suggested for a replacement match since Robinson won't make it. He offered to put his X Division title on the line at that match at Dominion. If a New Japan star wins, they will take place defending the Ultimate X champion at Slammiversary. So a cool little twist on an unfortunate situation. All the best to Juice, speedy recovery. And let's hope he can get back soon. But at least they're making it at least a little cool and giving you some options that might be intriguing to watch. MJF stealing it. That's a wet dream. Okay. So now, like I just said, Ace Austin, if you haven't seen, has joined the Bullet Club. So he was eliminated earlier this week from the Best of Super Juniors, but officially joined the promotion's top faction Bullet Club and helped them pick up a marquee win over the United Empire. Bullet Club leader teased one more surprise before the night would end, and that surprise, the one I think a lot of us picked to fight CM Punk, Kenta. Kenta made his anticipated return to New Japan. So, New Japan's got some stuff going on. It's been pretty interesting. And you got Kenta back. They added a new member. I know Juice is kind of off to the side right now, but they're filling in for him, and they're making it work. And I think that is pretty cool. If you don't really watch New Japan or because of the weird times, it happens here a lot, quite a bit, because of all the other North American and stuff wrestling going on. A lot of times you just got to go back and find it and watch it not live because of the weird time difference. So, New Japan's got it going on right now with this Forbidden Door coming on. They're definitely staying in the news. And now, I believe that is it for the New Japan. What's your guys' thoughts on the New Japan stuff going on, the AEW? Is it cool? Do you like it? Is it interesting? Do you care? Are you going to even watch? Let us know in the comments. And we are now going to move on. Look, like I said earlier, AEW, then we went to New Japan. WWE is kind of third this week for big stories and things going on. But it's kind of the theme of the day right now. Our first, and I think big story, it's kind of breaking, I believe. And I think the first time I seen it was this morning. Holy moly. 1 second. A little parched. So at the WWE live event this weekend, it was actually titled one of its classic programs, Saturday Night's Main Event. Cody Rhodes apparently has come down with an injury. I don't see what the actual injury is, but yeah, apparently he's come down with an injury at the Saturday Night Main Event in a match. So there's some people saying, there's some reports out there saying it's worse than people are hoping. Some people are saying it's not a big deal. He'll still be at Hell in a Cell. So it's kind of mixed right now. I don't know if there's been anything officially sent out on this situation. I think if he's not at Hell in a Cell, they have a big problem. Their main event just got thrown in the toilet because no matter who you replace him with, it will not be that good. And oh, there we go. Comments is saying he will be there tonight. So maybe they're just playing up that babyface is kind of injured and he's going to overcome the odds and maybe make it a little bit bigger of a moment. But yeah, that's good news because if he didn't show up, it would have been big trouble for WWE and their main event tonight. So that is fantastic news. And as you can see, the fam is always kicking around, willing to help, and I appreciate that because, like I said, nothing I've seen officially said he'll be there tonight yet, but it could have been last minute. And now to more confusing news of the week. Looks great. We did not get to see Lacey Evans and this whole new gimmick on Monday Night Raw, unfortunately. What was, yeah, she was supposed to be on Monday Night Raw. I think there was a match supposed to happen. I could be wrong there, though. It didn't happen. I don't even think they made an announcement of it. And then what they did was they just sent out the little advertisement saying she'll show up on SmackDown. Didn't advertise a match, just said she'll be there. I don't know. They seem confused with what they're doing with Lacey. She's all over the place. I've been on here many, many, many times. I don't mind the gimmick they're going for, but it was the way they executed it. and I think there was a way better way to do it. In my opinion, they should have left the Southern Belle alone, or at least did this a little differently to make the transition smoother. But now they're confused, and they're not too sure what is going on at the moment, and they're just throwing her all over the place. So, and that story now leads to, we skipped ahead. Let's go to the Liv Morgan story. I'll get to the other one in a few minutes. So, lately, it seems to be the news of the summer so far. Wrestlers in every promotion seem to be getting more than I can remember in a long time, where there just seems to be every week there's a handful of wrestlers. Like last week, I think it was three to five. You had Pillman Jr., you had Tennille Dashwood. I think the week before that was Jessie McKay. Well, this week it's now Liv Morgan's turn to make her film debut in a movie called The Kill Room, which, considering the other movies, this one may actually be the biggest one yet. And it's she's gonna be in a cast of people that are very well known. And if you want to get into a movie, well, this might be the one. It has Uma Thurman, Samuel Jackson, Joe Manganiello, the guy from Magic Mike. Can't say his name. I might have said it okay. Maya Hawke, Debbie Mazur, Larry Pine, Dree Hemingway, and Leah McSweeney. Now, I don't know all of those people, but the fact that Uma Thurman, Samuel Jackson, Joe M. are in it, that sounds like a pretty good cast. Big screen role in Michael Franco's. Yeah, so that's the good news for WWE. Liv Morgan kind of just broadening their horizons, I guess, and reaching out to other avenues in the world. And now, this one is what I was going to get to. I screwed up the order there a little bit. That's okay. It's what happens when you're first time by yourself. Things will happen. You're live. So, the Lacey Evans story with her moving all over the place and not knowing what they're doing. Well, the big story going around, and I've read it on a few different stories and a few different pages. WWE is having problem with their roster depth ahead of Hell in a Cell. Ahead of Hell in a Cell. Once you have people like your main champion take a vacation, you have other guys kind of hurt or disappearing and taking breaks like Randy Orton. When you release 80 people, 80 wrestlers, or more, 80 plus, let's say, because it was definitely at this point more than 80, you're going to have this problem. And this is why I think KJ has been the biggest one saying, end the, mine went blank there. End the split divisions. Put it all into one. Unify all the belts. Give the women the IC or the US title. My idea, not KJ's. But do that. Let's simplify things. Go back and just have the titles mean more. Have the people be able to go back and forth. You're doing it anyways. Now, I know Nick had kind of a theory on it this way with the networks. You can still say, oh, no, they're SmackDown exclusive wrestlers and they're Raw exclusive wrestlers. But are you really fooling anybody? Maybe the networks don't pay attention that much, but yes, the Valdez Express. I like that name now, JV. I'm guessing that's JV. That is awesome. So, end the split, and you'll find your depth may get better. This keeping them on separate shows is not working, and they need to move on. I think it would be better with the way the world of wrestling is right now. The fact that you got Cardona and you got all these other people just going to GCW and jumping in here and jumping in there and going all over the place. You can kind of do that on Raw and SmackDown, and if you want to throw NXT into it, I wouldn't, but you could. You just have them show up. Hey, don't promote them. Don't advertise them. Hey, look. Who can I think of? Shayna Baszler and Natty show up on Raw next week without anything. And it's like, oh, you got to pay attention more because you never know who's going to show up anywhere. So that's what happens when you release as many people as they did to try and help your bottom line, is you then have problems with your roster depth. Now, moving on to a current storyline that is going on and will be, I'm guessing, one of the bigger matches of the night, as much as me and I think others aren't really looking forward to it. Sorry, I just seen a comment there and I don't know if I liked it. MVP. Now, I believe this was rumored last week or 2 weeks ago or at some point. Yeah, that one. I would not bring back the Divas title. I think the women have worked way too hard to... Now, I know I said I wouldn't get to the comments, but this one I want to hit. I think the women have worked way too hard to get to where they've gotten, to go back to Divas title. Now, yes, you can change the IC title. I think that would be a disgrace, and have that kind of as their mid-card title. But I'd have the women's champion, I'd have the IC or the US, and then I'd have the tag teams. And then you can have the 24/7, and whoever wants to run around with that, go ahead. But that's kind of how I would play it. I know there's other people that have said bring back the Divas title, since it seems like they're headed back that way. If you want to give the Divas title to the NXT, go for it. I don't necessarily want to see it. I think there's women like Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley have worked too hard to be, I don't want to say put in that hole of just they're divas, because they're not. They're wrestlers. They're athletes. And diva kind of has a bad connotation to it, where not everybody looks at it very nicely. Were they talented? Were they good back then? Yes, 100%. But I wouldn't want to go back to that, to be honest. So now MVP, let's get back to that story, has finally released his diss track towards Bobby Lashley. I have not heard it. I'm not excited to hear it. I didn't actually even know he was a rapper until today. So you learn something new every day. That's always good. And that's about that. I think it's about as interesting as the feud itself. I think from most of the responses we've heard, not many people are looking forward to it. So I don't know. Maybe they'll highlight it tonight on the Hell in a Cell. Maybe they'll play it tomorrow at Raw. We'll have to wait and see. Now to a cool little thing going on social media. I bag on WWE sometimes for not using social media very well. They've done a little bit better of it lately. We have this whole Austin Theory, John Cena calling each other out. In interviews, in just any moments they can on social media. Theory wants Cena. Cena seems to want Theory. So I think it's bound to happen. There is a lot of rumors of Cena returning, probably at SummerSlam or sometime very, very soon. He says he misses it. It's his home. And I've been a fan of John Cena. I never liked when people kind of turned, ever since his Thugonomic days, and then they would just boo him and stuff. And I was never like, he works his ass off, and there was a reason why he was the face of the place for as long as he was. I think if he comes back and fights Theory, I think they could have a cool feud. I think that would kind of, with the rumors that were going around there when the Theory Vince stuff kind of started happening, where he sees him as the next Cena. Well, here's your pass the torch moment. Okay, so I think that's a pretty cool way to end. Well, that's WWE. That's main roster news. Let's go with that. We are now into NXT news, and they have announced the Great American Bash. As you can see in front of me there, it is July 5th. Tuesday, July 5th. At 8 o'clock, the NXT Great American Bash one of those classic names that you like to see around. There has been mentions of WWE should use some of those classic pay-per-view names and maybe even get rid of the gimmicky ones like Hell in a Cell and TLC. This would be a good one to use, and they are using it for NXT. I guess it's just going to be just a special on a Tuesday, but still cool to see nevertheless. Now, back to some kind of unfortunate news. There is a report going around that the reason we have not seen Io Shirai is because she is dealing with an injury. With an undisclosed injury. So they're not even really being upfront about what she's injured with. I'm a big fan of Io Shirai. I liked especially when she kind of turned and went to that like darker Io Shirai than when she first showed up. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully she's back. They haven't given out too much information. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. And that's all we really know at this moment. What do we have next? Oh, NXT will be taping a couple episodes of NXT next week. It will not be live for a couple weeks. It was announced at last night's show. The next week there will be a double taping on Tuesday and Wednesday night from the Performance Center in Orlando. The June 7th episode will air live as usual. They will tape the June 14th edition in advance, while the June 21st show will also be pre-taped. It was added that WWE plans to return to its live episode starting June 28th. It's unclear exactly why WWE is taping this one episode of the show. In the past, WWE's taped a select number of NXT shows to make upgrades to the Performance Center. So, maybe that's what. Maybe they got some renovations going on. Maybe they got some house cleaning. Maybe they just don't want to go live one week. They just want a break. So let's throw it all into one and let's see how it goes. It's not the first time. I'm guessing it will not be the last. Now, folks, we are moving on to, and they actually had a little bit more news than they did last week. It was kind of hard to find some Impact news last week. This week was a little easier. They've had some headlines, a lot of rumors to go with those headlines. So we're going to start with, I think, the biggest one. Jay White is no longer going to appear on Impact. He has departed the promotion. It was said there is no current way to consistently use him on Impact programming right now due to his busy schedule with New Japan. This is similar to the reasons Jonah departed. Per the report, Impact would love to have him back when they can, but he doesn't have anything scheduled with the promotion, and that's not expected to change in the near future. He was brought in last July as part of a working agreement with New Japan at the end of Slammiversary, where he confronted Kenny Omega and Don Callis, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson. So his last Impact match was March 15th, Impact taping, when he worked as a tag team with Chris Bay, and they lost to the Briscoes. So, like the article says, he has a lot going on. New Japan, AEW, he's just all over the place right now. I think he is on the verge of being a very, very big star in the wrestling world. And and I think that I think he'll be back possibly at some point. Just like they said, nowhere in the near future. So another one with a lot of rumors. This one didn't. Jay White didn't have as many rumors because it's a little more obvious what's going on with him. New Japan, Forbidden Door, AEW, all that. It's kind of right there in front of you. There's nothing. There's no WWE rumors or anything going on. But with this guy, formerly known as Big Cass, W. Morrissey is now a free agent. He is no longer working with Impact. His last TV appearance will happen, I guess it was last week there with the tag team match with PCO against Moose and Steve Macklin. He did make, he was pinned. He did make his AEW debut a few weeks ago in the Wardlow and MJF storyline, but that was kind of just a one-off for that. I know Tony Khan has said he would be welcome to having him back. Shortly after this, reported, and then it was reported, that WWE has liked what he has been doing, and that they are very interested in possibly bringing him back. When you look like he does, when you've gone through the things he's done, when he seems to be in the place that he's in, I think bringing him back and giving him a big push in WWE, like they were trying before he did get released, wouldn't be too surprising. So that's what I mean when it, excuse me, this one came with a little bit more rumors. This one came with, well, will he go to AEW? Will he go to New Japan? Will he go to WWE? Kind of up in the air. I think if he wants to get paid probably a little bit more, he'll end up in WWE. If he wants to kind of rectify how he left WWE, that'll be one of the good reasons of leaving or going back. But you never know. And with them having depth problems at the moment, hey, why not? I think that would be a very big pickup, and to keep him away from AEW would be great. Now, to the main event scene of Impact. Steve Maclin wants the world title he wants a world title shot at Against All Odds. What is this saying here? It will be taking place July 1st from the center stage in Atlanta, Georgia. And they are saying Steve Maclin wants a title shot. He wants that belt. He wants to be involved. He thinks he's earned it with how well he's been doing. And I don't disagree. I think there may be other things on the horizon for the world title, so he may have to wait a little bit, but I think he is one of their higher-ups right now, and he is on kind of a roll, so I don't think it'll be too long before he sees himself in that title picture. Now, moving on to kind of the rest of the industry. And kind of Impact as well. We have some unfortunate news, and this is a little bit more serious than, well, I don't know if more serious is the right word, but Matt Cardona is injured and will require surgery. The doctor is suggesting surgery, which I will be getting on Tuesday, but there's no way I'm not coming to a pay-per-view named after me. NWA Always Ready on June 11th. He will be there, and he's still going to show up. Oh, excuse me, again. I don't know what exactly is going to happen. I don't know exactly what's going to go down. I am going to be there. I'm going to have the 10 pounds of gold with me. And that's really Billy's decision, what he wants to do. Trust me, part of me wants to just tape it up and work through it, but I want to be doing this for a long, long time, so it's probably better that I just get it taken care of right now. There's no good time to get hurt, but this certainly isn't it. You know, NWA is World Heavyweight Champion, having a pay-per-view named after me. Just being the king of the indies, the king of the death match. We have Slammiversary coming up. This is not a good time to get hurt, but shit happens. And that is a quote from Matt Cardona. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I don't see exactly what it was. I think it was an arm or shoulder. I thought I had it here, but I don't seem to see it at the moment. So he's still trying to help, especially NWA, who does make their champions seem to mean a lot more than some other companies. It sucks. It's bad timing, obviously, like it just said. Best wishes go out to Cardona. Hopefully a speedy recovery. You're the belt collector at the moment of the whole wrestling industry. I don't think anybody has as many belts as he does. And so it is it is sad to see, but I think he'll be back. He'll be better than ever, and I think he will recover and just pick up where he left off. And I think it'll be okay. I think he's doing so well. I don't think he'll lose any steam, and I think he's doing such a good job outside of it that he'll keep up the momentum. He'll still stay in the news. He'll be involved some way, somehow. Now to some good news, some positive news. NWA partners with East Tennessee's Children's Hospital to offer tickets to healthcare workers and patients for Always Ready and Knocks Out. So there are 2 shows coming up very shortly. They have done some charity work, which I think is always a beautiful thing. If you can help out the first responders and the children, and I believe that is always amazing. And it's always good to see, and NWA is doing their part, so that is very cool. You applaud them for that. It's always good to kind of help when you can, so it's just NWA trying to get out there a little bit more and throw some charity around. Moving on now to Mrs. Killer Cross. Recently married. I believe we covered that last week. Scarlett Bordeaux. Fantastic wrestler, fantastic character. Wasted by WWE. I'll just throw that in there. Will be making her MLW debut June 23rd in New York City. Major League Wrestling today announced Scarlett Bordeaux will make her MLW in-ring debut at the Battle Riot when MLW returns to New York City's Melrose Ballroom on June 23rd, featuring an MLW Fusion TV taping. Pretty cool. Just like quite a few people out there, they're just getting out there. They're doing the rounds, and where they land will be interesting, or maybe they just keep doing the rounds because it seems to be working for quite a few people right now, and I think they're doing okay without that WWE money. So I think it's not a surprise that she's landing in WWE or in MLW, but very cool, and it's very cool to see where Scarlett may go after that, and where's Killer Cross? What's he gonna do? Now to some free agent news. I think this got the whole world buzzing. Excuse me. I think this got the whole world buzzing. When did we first? Was it? We were going on the air for, I want to say, Rampage, when some of this stuff started leaking out and started being out there. Wyndham Rotunda, formerly known as Bray Wyatt, posted a cryptic tweet that seemingly hints that he's ready to return to pro wrestling, or at least many fans are taking it that way. The tweet says, "Everything's good that's ever happened to me. First came a period of horrible suffering. I never ask why. I just wait for the rough part to end. I was chosen for whatever reason, and I've got shit to do. It doesn't hurt anymore. It burns. I'm ready now." So there was also a red circle at the end of the tweet that some are taking to mean that he's come full circle and returning to WWE. We don't know that to be the case, and really anything is possible. We do know the AEW and Impact have shown interest in Rotunda, but his asking price is said to be very, very high. So that's very interesting. We've been waiting. KJ maybe the most out of anybody. He's predicted it, I think. I think he gave up there for a month or two, and he skipped the pay-per-view. But almost every pay-per-view since he's been released, especially around Halloween time and Christmas, and was Bray's coming, Bray's coming, Bray's coming. And yes, I just hit my table, so my camera shook. Because that's how passionate people are about Bray Wyatt and what he is capable of and what he's doing. So, sorry, just seen one of JV's comments, made me laugh. Don't have to pull it up. So that's pretty cool, and we are hoping that would be it. Sorry. Made me laugh there for a second. So that is pretty cool. We're all big fans of Bray, and I think no, not at the moment. We're hoping he comes back. I think he's going to WWE. But let's move on to Cesaro, somebody else with an apparent very high asking price. So the report is saying he's just laying low and taking time with family, as he does have a young child. It is unknown if AEW made him an offer, but Tony Khan has spoken highly of him in the past. He did trademark a new name in case he decides to go somewhere other than WWE. However, there is a feeling that Cesaro will likely go back to WWE. He is said to be comfortable there, even though he knows he wasn't used on top and he wasn't used properly. Nothing is confirmed. That's just kind of rumors floating around at the moment. The only thing known for sure is that he has been talking with Conrad Thompson about appearing at StarCast and has considered other projects that he wouldn't be able to do if he was in WWE. So once again, nothing's a for sure, just kind of all rumors. Like I said, it was kind of rumored that his prices are way too high. I think to KJ or Ali, whoever's doing the comments at the moment, his price, along with Bray, should be high. Now, Bray's a little tricky because he can't do some of the things he was doing in WWE. He can't take The Fiend with him. He can take variations with him. So some promoters might think, oh, he's kind of starting over. Are we going to risk that? Cesaro can kind of come in and do whatever. He's never really been stuck in a gimmick or a character. I would love to see him go back to the whole tearaways and the Hitman kind of look. I thought that was very cool. I loved the entrance. And like I said, they've been in WWE. They're known commodities. I think they should be. And there should be an asking price for them, and it should be high. And if that means they go back to WWE because they're the only ones that can afford it, maybe it's a little less than what they were making before. I'm okay with that. I think with Cesaro being away, I think it would definitely help his worth in WWE. I think if he does show up, it would give him a monstrous pop. I think fans would be very, very happy to see. And with the rumors of a lack of depth, well, you never know. Now on to, I don't know, I probably shouldn't even have put this in, but the daughter of the wonderful Mick Foley. Beautiful picture right there. She is jumping on the bandwagon of so many others. Tony Storm, I believe CJ Perry. There's a lot of Thunder Rosa. Had to peek down, did you? Thunder Rosa, there's a whole bunch of them. And whether it's not just strictly with OnlyFans, it might be other third parties. They have Noelle Foley, sorry. Has joined OnlyFans and will be giving exclusive content to OnlyFans and to the fans out there in the world. So if you're a big fan of her and her photos and her pictures and her daily life, well, you now have another avenue to find it. Very cool. A cool way to kind of get yourself out there. And yeah, just seems to be just another avenue, like I just said, for these females mainly. There are, I think, males doing it as well. I don't want to just say females. But for wrestlers, for celebrities, for people to kind of get more of the pie for themselves and just kind of just get themselves out there a little bit more than just your standard Instagram, your Twitters, right? Just another way to kind of generate some funds for yourself. And folks, 55 minutes, I believe. That is the yeah, KJ. That's why let's not go there. Um, so that about wraps up the major storylines of the day. The question that I have of the day would be, oh, sorry, I forgot about the little video there. Do you guys think is tonight like how funny? I guess I don't know if funny is the right word, but would it be ironic? I don't know. Can't think of the word at the moment. But one of the bigger things Bray did before he left was that big Hell in a Cell match he had with Rollins, where everybody was kind of disgusted. Nobody seemed to like it. It didn't go over well behind scenes. It didn't go over in front of the scenes, in the ring, in the fans. Hey, say Cody shows up or say Cody wins and like leaves the ring. All of a sudden, Bray comes back and beats the hell out of Rollins. Or does he go after Cody? Do you see any surprises? That is the question of the day. I know I kind of just ventured off there for a little bit, but do you see any surprises tonight? Do you see a Cesaro? Do you see a Bray Wyatt? So the question is, do you see any surprises tonight at Hell in a Cell? And if so, who? Some New Day there for you. Who do you think it is? And would you be happy with it? I think if Bray shows up during that main event in the cell, I think would be very, very, very cool. Will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, folks, the place to see that is the Wrasslin for Life Network. We will, of course, be covering it. I believe we're on the air at 7 o'clock tonight. We are on the air at 7 o'clock tonight. We will be covering Hell in a Cell like we covered In Your House NXT last night. If you haven't seen it, it is on our channel. You can go back and watch and see the boys kill it all night long. It looked like a blast. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it and be a part of that fun, but sometimes life gets a little busy and you got to do some other things. So the guys last night absolutely killed it and did a wonderful job. If you have not seen it, like I said, go and check it out. We do have other things there. We had the podcast. If you haven't heard that, the four guys, I believe, just shooting the shit, just kind of finding topics that like we just talked about here and just debating them and talking about them and just giving different perspectives from different walks of life and different I just said perspective. And it's a very cool thing. Like I said, if you haven't checked it out, I'd go check it out. We've had a rabbit hole spontaneously, rabbit hole spontaneously show up today. Or not today, this week, earlier in the week. I believe it was on Thursday when Allie did the lone show. She went in by herself and killed 2 hours and then was having so much fun and was like, hey, I'm going to go some more. So, like I said, we always got stuff going on, and the main one today would be Hell in a Cell tonight. 7:30, I believe KJ just threw out there. So have the bell on, have the like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we're always around, and you never know what we're going to do. And on that note, I am, before we leave, going to give you the moment of the week, which I think is kind of obvious. That's why I kind of did it after that whole big I think everybody and anybody, you can kind of say the CM Punk thing, maybe that may be a second, but there's no way in hell, no chance that you couldn't pick anybody but this. It has to be MJF. The fire, the heat, the intensity, just the points that he hit that seemed to hit home for a lot of people. The Hall of Famers, the old time wrestlers coming out and talking about the fact that it was good or it was bad or he shouldn't have said this or he shouldn't have said that. And it's just brought so much debate and so much talk of the wrestling industry and what's the proper way and blah, 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 blah. And like I said, it's just brought so many eyes and attention to one AEW, but just wrestling in general. And it is amazing. Whether it's a work, whether it's a storyline, whether it's a shoot, a work, it doesn't matter. It's working, whatever they're doing. And I hope they keep doing it somehow. I hope it is a work I hope it is just them screwing with everybody and they can continue this. Maybe it ends up in an MJF Tony Khan feud. Would you like to see that? I don't know if I'd want to see him wrestle necessarily. But if Tony Khan kind of turns into the Eric Bischoff of AEW and has a bunch of goons or a little faction around him, I think that could work. And I don't think there's any way you could pick another moment this week besides MJF. He is, like he said, he's writing his own ticket. He while everybody's hitting home runs, he's hitting grand slams, and this was one of them. And yes, to your point, I didn't even actually bring that up, Alexis. Athena, Ember Moon, that was also a very cool moment to debut, have her match, but there is nothing that compares to this MJF moment, and that is our moment of the week. So, folks, like I kind of said before the moment of the week, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You'll never know when we're on here. Sometimes we just jump on live and just give you a few stories. Sometimes we'll throw a show up randomly. We're always around, and even when we're not around and we're not on here, we are always going. The machine is always rolling, and there's always stuff going on, and we're always just trying to figure out ways to give everybody as much content and the best content as humanly possible. And there is a small army of us, so there is quite a bit that we cover, and it's I hope you're enjoying it. I hope to see a lot of you tonight at the wonderful oh, sorry, I just read a message there and kind of made my mind blank. No. So, yeah, I hope to see everybody tonight. We are going to be covering Hell in a Cell. It should be – hopefully it's a good one. I don't think there's much hype or much I don't think the build-up was as good as a lot of people would have hoped, but there is still some intriguing stuff. And then with some of this other stuff going on, I think it could be good. So, and if it's not, we are always good. So show up and hang out, have a good time with us, have a chat, and like I said, hope to see you guys tonight, and thank you for being here. And I believe that is the news for the day. Thank you for checking out Wrasslin for Life Network.